share all the recordings to you. So yesterday we have seen how to define a structure, how to define members for it, and how structure is built. So it is basically depending upon the entity, means on which operation. So structure is nothing but a user defined data type. You can define, or we can say it is a derived data type derived from the basic data types. So you can define the members basic data types as a integer, float, double, and so on. Character, character array, array also you can use. You can use one structure member in another structure member also. That is also fine. So if we go for, let us see. Yes, yesterday we have defined complex structure for a complex. I hope everybody can see the screen. So now this complex is defined, and addition function we have defined. Now we want to see what will happen if we use, or the question is whether we can use the pointer for a structure or not. The answer for this question is yes. And if you want to define the pointer, then what you have to do, struct complex and star p. I am giving the name to the, or ptrc. Okay. So now by declaring this, ptr is a pointer which points to a complex, or which will have the capacity to store complex address, or address of a variable of complex type. So what is a complex type? It is a structure. So if you want to, so this is just a pointer. Okay. If you want to assign the value ptr equal to, you can assign the value address of one. So this is same as integer. For integer also what we are doing, or for the basic data type, we are taking the variable integer t1 and struct complex pointer, and pointer equal to address of t1. So similarly, instead of int, there is a struct complex. So this is a user defined data type. So similar way you can use. Now if I want to access the members, for example, for the c1 we have taken the values from the user, and now if I have the pointer address of c1, so if I want to access the members of c1 using pointer, then what I have to do, what I can do, I can use complex number from ptr is, if I want to access ptr, instead of dot you need to use array. How this array is created? Ptr array. Array means dash and greater than sign, dash and greater than, minus and greater than sign. So this is array. Ptr arrow real. Again this is arrow, and if I want to use this, so this is called as pointer, pointing to, we can read this as a ptr pointing to real, ptr pointing to imaginary. So this arrow you can use to point instead of dot. If you have the variable directly, then you can use a dot operator. If you want to use pointer, and using pointer if you want to access the members, then ptr arrow. Okay. Now if I run this, the first line, the complex number from pointer ptr is 12 and 34, because we have given an address of c1, the first complex number to ptr, right? So using this arrow operator, you can use a pointer. Second thing about the pointer is people are really rarely use this pointer. The structure has been used in almost every program because it gives an opportunity to create your own data type or entity. It is called as entity, your struct or data type. Second thing, there is one more data type called union. We want to see the difference between this union and that. So what I will do, I will copy the same program and we will see what will happen in the union. There is one more data type called union. Union. It is similar to the structure, but there is a much difference between them. There is a difference between them. It is not similar to this. Only thing is, for writing the structure, it is same. It will have the union instead of struct. It will have the union keyword. You can give the name, and in the writing code, you can give the members to it. Okay. Now suppose I have given the real and imaginary. Basic thing about the union is you can union will hold the value of only one variable at a time, whatever you assign. If we go for the struct complex, it will have the two members. So whenever you define a variable for this, it will allocate memory for this variable also and this variable also. So if it will have the 8 byte for float or 4 byte for float, then it will have the 4 plus 4. Let us see size of what is size of this struct. Def percent d, let us see percent d size of. We know that size of is operator. C1c. Size of structure is 8. Means float takes 4 byte. This float takes 4 byte. So 4 plus 4, 8. If I will have character A, one more member as a character A, and if you go for the size, it will have the 12. 12 means 4 plus 4 plus 4. It has taken 4. What is the size of this? This is 1, then why it is 12? Let us take C3. It will have something going wrong. Size of C3, it should give 9 only. Oh, there is something wrong, guys. I will give explanation later on because of this thing is only 9. Don't know why it is giving the. My expectation was 4 byte plus 4 byte 8 byte and plus 1 byte is 9 byte. So I don't know why it is giving the 12. I will explain this later on. Sorry for that. Okay. So whenever we are allocating the memory for the union, it allocates the memory only for the variable with the size larger size variable. For example, if there is a character A, in that case it will have the size for the larger variable only. So first thing is, whenever you are writing the union, it will hold one variable at a time only. For example, if I remove this also I will remove. If I take union, I will give the name for this my union. Okay, I have taken 3 variables. Now if I give the c1 dot real equal to 23 printf %f okay. Now if I assign the value for c1 dot imaginary, say 30, and after that if I will print this again, let us see what happens. Okay, okay. So if I run this, let us see what is output. First I have taken the union as my union and c1 is a variable. After that c1 dot real equal to 23. So I have assigned only real. Then if I print c1 dot real, it gives 23. If I print c1 dot imaginary, it gives 23. So once I assign the real value, it assigns value for real and imaginary both. So it will hold only one value at a time. Therefore, this has been assigned to both the variables. If I assign c1 dot imaginary to 30, 30, then again if I print this c1 dot real, it will be the 30, c1 dot imaginary, it will be 30. Means for the union, it is a union, only one member will hold the value at a time. If I assign another value, other value will be arised. One more thing about this is, since these both the variables are the same type, therefore if I assign the value for the real, it will be for imaginary also. But now if I take another variable, say integer, say for example this variable is integer, let us see what happens. And I need to put imaginary is %d here, right? If I go for this, now if you see, if I assign the value for the real, this value I have not assigned it, right? Therefore it gives some garbage value because its variable type is different. If it was a float, then it will be giving the same value, which real is. But it is a different data type, therefore it cannot hold the value of this 23.000. Therefore it has hold some garbage value. If I again assign the value for imaginary, c1 dot imaginary integer, therefore if I assign the value for this value it will erase to the 0. This value it will erase to the 0, and this will hold only value for this real. So this is a basic difference between union. Union is nothing but only one value at a time. They all the variable will have the union. Only one value will be given at a time. Therefore, it will hold the value whenever you assign. Means latest assign value it will hold. For example, if there is one more variable, say character A, then see what will happen. If it is a character A, now what I will do, I will assign value for character now. C1 dot A. For example, I will assign A. A I have assigned. So %C C1 dot A. C1 dot A. I want to see what happens with this if it is character. Recently assigned value will be hold. If I go for the start, I have assigned value for real. Therefore, the value of real is 23. Value of imaginary is something garbage, and value of A is something garbage. If you see, it is a space or something, some new character. We don't know that character. Space is there. Now, if I assign the value for imaginary, again, once I assign the value for imaginary, the real value will become 0. C1 dot imaginary value will become 30 because just we have assigned recently assigned value. And C1 dot A it is again a garbage value. You can see there is a question mark or something. So it is a garbage value. Again, if I assign the value for character now, then what will happen with the real? It will be the 0. What will be the value for imaginary? It is 65. It is also becoming some garbage automatically. It is not becoming the 0. So here also it is becoming a garbage automatically. In this case it comes to the 0, but it is garbage. Now if I will go for the A, it will have, means you will have the access or you will get the proper value for the variable which is recently assigned for the union. Remember this word, this sentence. You will get the value, proper value for the variable which is recently assigned. Here real is assigned, so you will have the only real value. Other value don't know what will happen with them. If you have the imaginary, you will get. If we go for the size of, if I will say printf %d size of my union size of my union is 4. It will hold the size of maximum largest variable in the union. This have the 4, this will have the 4, this will have the 1, therefore it will have the 4 size only. So in the memory it will take a maximum places and it puts that value inside that. Now if I will go for size of C1, say, let us see what happens. I will put slash in here so that it will have size of C1 is 4 here. Once I assign this after the imaginary, what will happen? Size of 4 is 4. So everywhere memory allocation will be the 4 maximum size variable. That is the thing about the union. So can you imagine one application where this union can be used? Do you know any application where this union can be used? Do you have any idea? Or what is the use of this union? Can you imagine the application? Or let us take this as an exercise that find out the application of union where it has been used. For example, structure we can use for calculation of complex numbers or creation of entity like book, for any purpose. Like if you want to hold the values for any entity, like if you have the shop, you have the medical shop, you have the tablets, you can create the struct for the tablet and you can give the price, date of expiry, and also and so on. So similarly, can you imagine the application for the union? So this is an exercise to you. Find out the application and demonstrate it using the program. So find real application of, no need to have the real, application is real, application of union and demonstrate using program. Okay, you need to find out this application. Now what you can do, one more thing you can do. Now we want to do some practical for the structure. uh, this is one of the exercise. Yesterday I have given the exercise for the book. So create a program create a program using structure to find rectangle, to define rectangle using point and area. You need to create a point, 2D point say. Point we can have using this. Using structure, write a program to define point, means taking the, suppose you want to take a rectangle, and if you have the point structure, suppose you want to define the structure again for the rectangle. If you want to define the rectangle from the point, or what will be the members for this rectangle? If you want to hold like this, for example, for the book there is a name, price, pages, publication, etc. For the complex number we have seen what we can use. So what will be the members for the rectangle? That is first question. You need to think of that, and again take rectangle from the user and find out the area. Write a function to, either you can write a function or you can directly make a calculation in the main function, but you need to do this program. You can use structure to pointer also, pointer to structure also here, but you need to think of, for the rectangle what I can take. Point is here. If you want to use point here, then also okay. If you don't want to use a pointer, then also it's okay. But how to define a pointer from basic data type? So think of this and write a program to define the structure. Take rectangle from the user, means you need to take the proper values from the user and find out the area for that. Start writing a program. I will be here. Let me know once you finish it. I will stop recording. No need to have recording now.